Sup, Suave Shredders. Welcome back to the latest installment of Suave Shred Guitar Lessons. My name is Mario. Don't forget to check out my Facebook page at www.facebook.com/SuaveShred for all my lessons and updates. And don't forget to like my page. Um, and in today's lesson, we're going to be teaching you guys a little bit of music theory, particularly whole steps and half steps, which are going to be essential to your rhythm and your lead playing throughout your experience of playing guitar throughout your life. And pretty much we have the neck of the guitar that's separated by all these frets: fret 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on. And essentially, every fret represents a half step. And what does that mean? That means that if I start at fret 1 and I go to fret 2, I've gone a half step because each fret is a half step. But if I go from fret 1 to fret 3, then I've gone a whole step because I'm adding 2 half steps. If I go from fret 1 to fret 4, then I've gone a half step, a half step, a half step. I've gone a step and a half. Okay, so I hope you guys are starting to get that. Now, the strings of the guitar, as I mentioned in another lesson, are separated into these strings, from the lowest string to the highest string: low E, A, D, G, B, E. Now, what's cool about that is that the strings are separated into perfect fourths, and then you got your G and B, G, A, B, that's separated into a third. Now, what does that mean? That means that from E to A, you count E, F, G, A. So that's 4. And you notice if you pluck them together, they kind of already make that perfect fourth sound. And you got A and D. There we go. A, B, C, D. Then you got from D to G, D, E, F, G. And then again, you got your third from G to B, G, A, B. And then from B, C, D, E. Now, what does it allow you to do? The way that the strings are set up like that, it allows you to play your major and minor scales anywhere on the neck with the same pattern for any scale. So how that's going to be represented is, in a major scale, if you're starting on C major, and I'm using C major because C major is the only key that has no sharps or flats, so it's going to be really easy for you guys to understand. You're going to start on C with your middle finger, and then with your pinky you're going to go a whole step. And now when you go on this fret right here with your first finger, so we started here on C, but now we're on the A string on the fret before that. So when we started on that C, and then we went to D, we went a whole step. And now when you go from this string, and then you go half step, half step, half step, 3 half steps back, but on the next string, you've gone a whole step. So you've gone from C to D to E. Then you're going to go a half step. And the reason that makes sense is because from E to F, there are no sharps and flats. Same with B to C. So from E to F, and then a whole step away from that, you have G. So you're going to go E on the A string, F, that's 7, 8, 10. Now from 10, you're going to go to the next string, the D string, you're going to go back to 7. That's A, and then you're going to go to B a whole step away on the D string. And then you're going to put your pinky down on the fret right after that, same string, D string, and that's your C note again. See, from B to C, I only went a half step. So when you put that all together, there you go. And now how does that apply to minor scales? Well, in minor scales, when you're doing that, minor scales go like this. You're going to start on, let's say, A minor. Then a step and a half away, you have your next note. Then a whole step onto the next string, remember? and then a half step. I'm sorry. And then next string, you're going to go full step. So it's just 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3. And yeah, so you're gonna so pretty much, you know, when you play a note that's wrong, you'll think about, oh, maybe I didn't go the half step or the whole step that I needed to in this key. You're gonna have to start memorizing which notes are in which keys, and the way you can do that is by starting on any major scale, like A major. I'm playing here. And you have to keep in mind that from B to C and from E to F, there's no sharps and flats. So when you incorporate your whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step method for major scales, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, you're going to realize that from A, whole step to B, whole step to C sharp, because from B to C there's is a half step, so another half step after that is a whole step, which makes C sharp. And then from C sharp, you're going a half step to D. And then from D, you're going a whole step to E. Next string, D string, you're going a whole step from E, not to F. From E to F is only a half step, so you're going to F sharp. From F sharp, you're going a whole step to G sharp. And then from G sharp, you're going a half step back to A. So yeah, so you're going to need to know about those sharps and flats now. So in between each of the notes, except for B and C and E and F, you have what are called sharps and flats. And the way that I can explain that to you is, if this is your A note on your E string, 5th fret, you have A, and then a whole step away you have B. But there's something in the middle. And you can refer to that note as either A sharp or B flat. Okay, so this can be called A sharp or B flat depending on what key you're playing in. If you're playing in the key of A sharp, it's going to be a sharp key, so you're going to want to refer to it as A sharp. B flat is in the key of A sharp, but it's not called a B flat. And if you're playing in B flat, you're not going to call that note A sharp. You're going to call it B flat for the sake of consistency. It really doesn't make a difference, but for the sake of consistency and completing your scales, you know, this is a B sharp major scale, or an A, I'm sorry, it's a B flat major scale or an A sharp major scale. Because you're ending up back on that A sharp or B flat note. Okay? And if you guys, I know this lesson might have been a little bit startling for some beginners, but if you guys need more help, just let me know and I'll try my best to clear something up. This has been SuaveShred Guitar Lessons, and I hope that you learned something new.